For staying with us, President Tinubu has reaffirmed his administration's dedication to strengthening the Nigeria police force, emphasizing the need for modernization and technological advancement. Represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima at the Nigeria Police Academy in Wunde, Kano State, the President outlined key measures to enhance crime detection and prevention, including the acquisition of new vehicles, communication equipment, and forensic tools. He urged the police force to leverage data analytics and digital tools to combat crime more effectively. Security consultant Patrick Agwambu joins us from our Abuja studios to talk about this matter, especially the matter of police welfare improvement that has been on the front burner over the years. Patrick, good morning. It's good to have you join us.
Good morning.
Now, governments year in, year out speak about improving the welfare of the police force. And you would recall that one of the demands of the hashtag #EndSARS protest was for the improvement of the welfare of the force. And a lot of Nigerians were looking forward to what would be done during that period. But now this current administration has come out to say, you know what, we are already even working on something. We've gotten equipment, new equipment, and all of it. But are we really addressing the root of these issues when we're talking about the welfare of the police?
Yeah, thank you. It's very funny because every now and then you hear government talk about improving the welfare of the personnel of the Nigeria Police Force. For me, I would say it's more of a noise and no action. It's just a talk, maybe geared towards motivating them, giving them hope. But I think hope, sometimes they say hope denied can be hope delayed can be hope denied, because sometimes when these people do not see these promises materialize, then they are discouraged. And when you give them another promise, that they don't believe you. As it is now, I can tell you that the personnel of the Nigerian Police Force do not believe all the promises government is making until they see action. So far, I think there is need for us to go beyond just rhetorics to actual putting the foot on the ground and fulfilling some of these promises.
And, to an extent, some persons would agree with what you have said, especially because the police force, as with other governments, run structures, is also a reflection of the larger society itself. But when we are talking about some of these suggestions that are put in place, like the use of, forensics, data, analytics, and others, does it really speak to the issue as to the welfare of the average Nigerian police who is experiencing some of the issues that we're facing in the society today?
Yeah, again, the use of technology is the solution to most of our security challenges. But this technology will be operated by human beings. And these human beings, when they are hungry, you may not get the best from this technology. And that is where the call for the police adoption of technology is questionable. I think that, first of all, let's take care of the men that will handle this technology, then before you can talk of technology. But again, when you talk of technology, what are the infrastructure that is on ground to support this technology? A lot of people have said so many things, advocated so many use of drones, rules on forensic and all that. But you need steady energy to operate some of all these things. You need a proper surveillance and mapping of our crime sectors to be able to find out where you are going to deploy this technology that we always talk about. It's so much still need to be done. We desire so much, and yet little is being done. I think it's, like I said earlier, we need to get away from so much talking and go into putting all these things into action.
All right, Patrick, let's even, tear this whole matter down a bit further when we're talking about the matter of welfare. What actually constitutes the welfare of the police? If we are to look at it critically and narrow it down, there are those who have said that, yes, equipment, very important, but an even salary increment, very good, but that's not all of it. That doesn't capture it or put it in proper perspective. So help us put this matter in proper context such that we can address it holistically as it should be. We have seen the salary structure, how it is, and there have been calls for an improvement of it. There are those who have talked about the Police Service Commission, how it's supposed to even be pushing this kinds of conversation. And we also have the Ministry of Police Affairs, where a lot of persons are saying, what are they doing that they are not sitting on these matters to ensure that the police get the right package they are supposed to get at the end of the day? So from your perspective as an expert, talk to us. What really constitutes this matter, and why is it so difficult for these persons or ministries or agencies that I've spoken about to actually push forward?
Yeah, you see, when we talk about welfare, salary is important, and salary has to be paid because these people are working. When somebody works, he must be paid. He or she must be paid. So I think that is important. But talking about salary increment, when you increase the salary, what eventually goes home with them, because the inflation is high and a lot of other things. So it doesn't just play out with the issue of salary increment. There are other areas you can motivate and take care of these. How well are they being kitted? That is one thing that we need to look very important. When you see an officer who is being well kitted, he's proud to do his job, then how well are his essentials being taken care of? When I talk about the essentials, his medicals. How well, they have touted so many that they should, some of them are registered for the health insurance scheme and all that. But I tell you, there are some neighboring countries who are also developing countries like ours, which that provides free medical treatment for security personnel, the police, and their family members. They provide free medical treatment for them up to surgery. And they also provide free education for their children. You see, when you take care of the home front, when you take care of their problems at home, then they will be motivated and encouraged to be able to put in their best. Because these are people that we want them to do the most basic essential of life, which is security of life and property. So we expect that these basics should be provided for them. Then secondly, the equipment to work is very also essential, because when you expect them to go out and chase these criminals and arrest them and bring them to justice, and they will have to depend on their bare hands, or they will use the local knowledge or crude method to be able to achieve this. You are not encouraging them, and that has actually brought the country to a lot of ridicules, because when our team goes for international peacekeeping missions, they excel based on the brute force that they employ, that they use. It's not because they are familiar with modern equipment. It's the important thing that we need to do right now is that we need to declare attention on this security personnel, particularly the police, that is the lead agency in internal security. Because of lack of neglect over the years, I tell you, their morale is low. Police today, as we speak, they are losing ground in terms of controlling crime in the country, and nobody is happy about it. Maybe some of the politicians may be happy because you still have policemen providing security for them. But when you withdraw these policemen from them, they start crying. But we need to be able to do what is essential, take care of them so that they can be able to take care of you and I.
And this whole thing boils back to,
the policeman himself understanding his role in the society, understanding the power that he actually wields in maintaining law and order. We see a lot of things on the streets, and in recent times there have been allegations of misconduct, corruption. When we put it vis-a-vis some of these implementations that you want to be put in place, like the salaries, welfare, being kitted properly, does this really assure of the fact that there will be an end to corruption and other things in the system?
Yes, when we come to that, I tell you that a corrupt mind will always be a corrupt mind, no matter how many billions or millions you pay him or you give to him. And that brings me to the point of the psychological well-being of these policemen, even as government, if they begin to make effort to improve their welfare. How are they psychologically cued towards carrying out their responsibilities the way it should be? Because it said that he who must come to equity must come with clean hands. If the police is to provide security, if they are supposed to bring the criminals to justice, then they should also be free from crime. But unfortunately, in some cases, we have seen some of the officers and men of the Nigeria police force getting involved in criminal activities, and that it's not good because their mindset, because of their psychological positioning. I think some people have called for proper psychological audit of the personnel of security agencies, not just the police force, to be able to weed off those who are not, who take this thing as business. All the security service, all the security agencies, their services, it's not something that, it's something that you have to volunteer, willing to do, and not being conscripted first and foremost, and not take it as a job opportunity, because that is what we see today. Some will tell you, look, God, there's nothing else to do, so let me go into any of these first so I can get job to do. No, it should be a passion so that they can put in their best. I have encountered so many police officers who take the job very passionately, who take their job very passionately, and they have excelled. And we have also encountered the corrupt ones who also get messed up along the line. So I think that it has to do with the psychological well-being of these persons, no matter how much you give to them.
Interesting. Now, there are those who think that the federal government alone cannot handle these matters, and that state governments, even though they do not have control over the police force as we speak, should also contribute some measure to the police force, the welfare of the police force, maybe by providing them decent spaces to live in, since they are domiciled or accommodated in states, that state governments should look in that direction, provide them some other things that government may not be able to really do, or bridge the gap as it is. What say you with regards to this statement?
Yeah, seriously, in this here, I must call some state governments very high points because today, with all modesty, I must tell you that the Nigeria Police Force is surviving today, and they are performing today based on the support from most of the state governments, not the federal government. Federal government, yes, consigned majorly on the monument, paying of salaries and all that as we speak. But in terms of equipping these police officers and taking care of their welfare most times, because state governments have provided, some state governments have provided welfare packages for police officers. They have provided insurance schemes and all that. They have been doing so much. And I tell you that they also see the result of what they are doing in their states. And so federal government have left funding of police to this state government. That is a sad situation because it's a federal government.
When you say federal government has left, are you saying that the government decide? It's like you saying that the government hands off totally. But from the conversation that the president had through his vice, that's not the situation.
Yeah, yes, that's a conversation. Yes, police are being paid salary by federal government. Maybe they take care of some of their recurrent issues. But How much more are they doing? Are they doing the capital project? Are they taking care of most of their welfare? Let me give you some states that I can tell you have done so well. Lagos State, for instance, is taking care of the Lagos State Police Command essentially, apart from the salaries and all that the federal government is paying. Rivers State, recently, we saw it in the news, they provided some logistics need of the police, taking care of that. These are some of these states are doing some of all these things to encourage the police to work. When last did the federal government get vehicles for the police? That's
part of the statement the vice president made, that they have gotten some vehicles, some equipment, and all of it. That's what they stated.
Nobody can tell us where those vehicles are on Nigerian roads. We can't see them, and that is the reality. Federal government established the Nigeria Police Trust Fund in 2019. Unfortunately, as we speak, I would tell you that trust fund it seems to be in doldrum because nothing much is being heard of them. I think that they should come out and provide what the police need. You take example of what is happening in Lagos State. The Lagos State Security Trust Fund, I must point it out that they are doing a yeoman's job. They are the ones sustaining the police in Lagos State, and we can see what the police in Lagos State are doing. And because it's also partly private sector driven, where private organizations, individuals are making donations and contributions to it, and they are being accounted for. Every year they give account to those who contributed to this, and that encourages them to give more. Nobody has had anything from the federal government trust fund that is set up. And maybe once in a while they provide some vehicles, few vehicles, maybe one for a state command and all that. That cannot solve the problem of the Nigeria Police Force. I think that there is need to get the Nigeria Police Trust Fund to be accountable and transparent in what they are doing. They have been emerged in some tussles before now until this new leadership that took over in June. We are yet to see what their plans are or what they will do for the police. But we hope that it shouldn't be as usual, where nothing is being done and so much talks and no action.
And this is why we're having this conversation. The president has vowed to improve the welfare of police officers. And, you know, earlier this year, I believe the federal government also increased their salaries by about 25 or 35%. But that aside, let's talk about, you know, the public perception of the police force, especially when we are talking about the psychological effect it will have on the average policeman on the streets. How well have we fared as regards, you know, managing the perception of the public, and how does this in a way affect the policeman in carrying out his duty?
Yeah. Okay. See, the truth of the matter is that majority of Nigerians do not trust the Nigeria Police Force, and that is the sad part of it all. And when you don't trust an agency that you interact with every day, then there is a lot of misgivings and a lot of misunderstandings here and there. And this has been over time. Some have said it's because of lack of performance. Some have said it's because of the attitudes of the men on the street or at the police stations. You know, so many reasons are being given, and sometimes these police officers, some of them are being used to oppress some people and terrorize some people. They have become an agent of oppressors and all that. So many reasons can be adduced for why there seems to be mistrust between the people which the police are supposed to be close to, because police really is the closest security agency, or should be the closest security agency to the people. And that is why they say police is your friend always. But some Nigerians will tell you that really police is Nigerian police is not our friend. But of course, like I always say, at every situation, the public will not like the police, because when police takes decision in your favor, you like them. When they take decision against you because you did something wrong, you hate them. And that is the situation. But all the same, I think that if Nigerians will see improvement in our Nigerian police force in terms of the attitude of the men on the street, in terms of the police stations, and we'll see the actions better than it used to be. But this will be if government will motivate them much better so that they can put in their best. Nigerians will begin to trust them and work with them closely.
I believe that that is what this current administration, from the statement made by the president through his vice, that they are looking to improve the welfare and the services of the police force. So what would you, in your perspective now, want this administration to do differently? Yes, it has come out to say that we have already begun implementation of critical initiatives such as acquisition of new vehicles, communication equipment, forensic tools to enhance crime detection and prevention capabilities. What more is left?
Yeah, what more is left is that the Nigerian police force cannot operate in isolation from the larger society. Right. Whatever is happening in the society will also reflect on what the police will bring out. And that is to say that generally the government will need to improve on the welfare situation of Nigerians generally, because take an instance where the police are used to control, or so to say, or quell protests. The Nigerian people will not be happy about it. And that is one of the reasons where some people will fighting against police. Their anger is not against police, but against the government. And so, at the end, police bears the brunt. So, the quicker the government puts into action these promises of better welfare, providing them with the essentials, which is medical treatment, education for their children, even training of the officers. I tell you, unlike some services, some security agencies and forces, where there's organized training by the organization, most Nigerian police personnel undertake trainings funded by themselves or some grants by some foreign countries or some foreign agencies. This shouldn't be. I think that the Nigerian police force should own their training programs and training manuals and not depend largely on the largesse from other people who goes back and starts looking for a way to manipulate the police towards their favors. Yes, goodwill support can come in from, but that shouldn't be the basic of police support. It should be a subordinate or supporting whatever that the government is providing. If as a father, you don't take care of your children, then your children will be looking outside, and whatever comes out, you don't have a choice. And that is the situation we are having today. And I just wish that the government, as they have made the promise, that they will put it in action, provide the basic things for them, but then improve on the infrastructure of the police so that they can give Nigerians the best service that Nigerians deserve.
All right, so that's a great one, but this is also coming at a time where many states are already sending in their, state police reports at a time where the country seems ready for state policing. How do we ensure that this collaboration works and some of the issues that we still have right now will not infiltrate the state police?
Yeah, I think there are several calls about state police and all that. I'm one of those who believe that we are not yet ripe for state police. We should take it gradually so that because there are so many negatives in implementation of state police as we are right now. I believe that essentially it will come to that point where states will take total firm control of the policing in their states. But as it is for right now, there should be a central police. Then with the support, well-coordinated support by the state government, the police will do their best. Like we can see, like I cited the example, some states are beginning to set up their own security trust fund or police trust fund. And when it were run like Lagos State is doing, I'm always proud of using Lagos State example because the security trust fund there has done so well in terms of providing all the necessary tools that the police desire. And that should be a model to reach out to all other states so that we can get improved service. Other than that, we may continue to just talk, and government will continue to make promises without action. Then, when we talk about budgeting, because it's one big problem to give police what they call envelope budgeting methods, where everything must not be more than this, whatever you need. In this day and age where things are different, they should be allowed to bring out their needs, and alternative sources of funding should be used, to be engaged, to make sure that whatever is needed is provided. Federal government said for the police trust fund, 0.5% of federation account goes to the trust fund so that they can fund the police. How well is this fund? Nobody knows what is coming in and how it's being used. It's also said that 0.005% of levies of company profits will also go to this trust fund. So there's a lot of questions. We need to interrogate a lot of things for us to be able to get to know how best to take care of this problem that confronts the Nigeria police.
Obviously, transparency is what you're talking about, so that we can be able to know how to channel all these resources appropriately to addressing the matters of the welfare of the police force. But you see, the concern again for some persons is if we are having this kind of posture towards the police force, knowing the kind of security challenges we are facing as a country, are we then really sincere with addressing the security issues that are bedeviling us?
Yeah, some people have said that we are not sincere because if you don't take care of the police that is to take care of these security challenges, then what do you expect? There have been a lot of accusations and counter-accusations that this could be deliberate to make sure that there's a constant insecurity persists in the country. But I want to disagree because I believe that a government has the responsibility. First cardinal responsibility of government is the welfare and well-being of the people. No government, no reasonable government, I choose my word, there are no reasonable government would want to be hearing that their people are being killed on a daily basis, or being kidnapped or whatever. No reasonable government will sit back and not do anything. I expect that if those in leadership, in authority, for various levels, local government, state and federal, have the conscience that their people they are elected to serve must be protected, then they must take care of the security forces and ensure that the right things are done. I tell you that one aspect of the governance which I'm looking at to see how it will play out is the local government level, because they play the biggest role in terms of security and in terms of also police coordination, because local government chairman, if you have a functional one, has that power. He has a security council that comprises of the DPO, sometimes even some of the area commanders are members with the traditional rulers and all that. And they have some resources that has to be expended to ensure that they tackle the issue of insecurity in that locality before it spreads. So if that level of government can be active and up and doing, then we'll have less of a problem in the state and in the federal level.
All right, that's a fine place to leave the conversation. Patrick Agbambu, security consultant, thank you so much for your time on the program.
It's a pleasure.